Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, we're going to be working with a live client. Rachel has volunteered to help me create even more content for my upcoming course, Hypnotic Wealth. And I've just had a brief conversation with Rachel, who has very openly shared that because of certain observations with, let's say, nearby family members and friends, there were certain associations with what it meant to have money. And that in her family, where money wasn't in such big supply, there was a lot of love and fun and enjoyment. And joy is really an emotive word for Rachel. Whereas in perhaps other families where there was more money, it was seen more as kind of a horrible thing, a different energy, which didn't really relate to Rachel. And it's highly possible, because we learn most of our beliefs and values from our childhood experiences, that a seed was planted back then in Rachel's childhood that led her to have a negative association which impedes her ability to link making money and having money grow with joy, which is a really important value for Rachel. And she used a couple of unconscious metaphors in this pre-talk where she was talking about wanting to be able to harvest the money, but also this requirement that money flows. And the problem with that is that there could be the right metaphors being used in the wrong context. So for example, if money has to flow, well, that's great if money's flowing towards you, but what if money has to flow away from you as well? Because it's very difficult for a seed to turn into a harvest if it's constantly moving. It has to have the time to take root, the time to grow and nurture. So in the hypnosis session that I'm about to do, this is being recorded live as we speak, I'm going to be using these two metaphors in a different context so that Rachel has the ability to link joy and abundance and this ability to share with the accumulation of money, giving it a new positive and joyful connotation. And this term, the harvest, when most people think of a harvest, they have internal images of brightly colored fruit and vegetables. But there is also this perception of a harvest is there to celebrate. There's festivities and sharing. So for Rachel, the necessity for joy to be linked to a harvest, I think is quite important, because we can link that into the metaphor. So if you're listening to this right now and you want to experience the hypnosis, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, relax those eyelids, and on the outward breath, that's it, allow those eyes to close. Eyelids getting heavier and heavier as you feel deeper and deeper relaxed with each and every breath. That's right, deeper and deeper, relaxed. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to picture a joyful energy, a glowing energy. And as you breathe in through your nose, imagine that joyful energy flowing in through your nose, going into your lungs, and allow your heart to do what your heart has been doing your whole life. In the same way that it can take oxygen from the air and distribute it to every cell in your body. I want you to imagine that as you breathe in this joyful feeling, this warm color, imagine your heart can extract that joy from your lungs and distribute it to every cell in your body, pumping through your blood. And when you exhale, just as your body can exhale carbon dioxide and any waste, imagine that any tension, stress, or anxiety that isn't needed is just leaving your body now. That's it, deeper and deeper, relaxed. That's right. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to do in your mind what you can't do in reality. Because physically, if you wanted to go out in nature, you would have to physically move your body, perhaps drive somewhere, and then walk out to find the perfect view. But as your body relaxes, your imagination becomes more alert. And you can do in your mind what you can't do in reality. And that is teleport to wherever and whenever you want. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to think of a time where you saw a babbling brook. Not just a stream, but a stream that was trickling down, perhaps over rocks, pebbles. Really seeing that water flow. And you can imagine being in that place, seeing that babbling brook. And as you do so, perhaps you can see the reflection of the sunlight shimmering off the surface of the stream. Maybe you can hear that trickle of water as it flows down the stream. Occasionally, you may see the stream pick up on things like a leaf, a twig, and you may even see beautiful animals, perhaps a dragonfly or a bird nearby. And I want you to get a sense that just by being close to this water makes you feel deeper and deeper relaxed. Now, so relaxed that you can imagine there is a chair. I want you to imagine sitting on that chair, just looking at this babbling brook, perhaps seeing the ripples, the motions of water, the tiny whirlpools that sometimes are created, and allow yourself to get lost in your own imagination, staring into the intricate movements in the water. And in doing so, allow your body to relax as your mind starts to move somewhere else. That's it. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. You will leave your physical body in that chair looking at that babbling brook. As you walk downstream by the side of this brook to see where it goes. 5, getting heavier and heavier, particularly your arms and your legs. That's it. 4, breathing in deeper, exhaling any tension. 3, feeling more and more relaxed with each and every breath. 2 and 1, imagine your physical body drifts off into a daydream sleep there in that chair as your imagination continues to walk downstream. And you can turn around, see yourself in that chair looking at that babbling brook as you continue to walk downstream, sun on your face, perhaps surrounded by trees or a meadow. And it just feels so relaxing to just walk downstream. And as you continue to walk downstream, I want you to think about your early thoughts about money. Perhaps about what it means to have money, or what money does to people. And I want you to remember perhaps a thought, a seed of an idea back when you were a child, that either was that money makes people horrible, or it takes a horrible person to acquire money. And if your unconscious had or has any of those beliefs, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And somewhere beside the stream, I want you to see a tree. And I want you to think how difficult it would be to plant a tree where this tree already exists. And I want you to imagine that you reverse time all the way back to when the tree was just a shoot. And I want you to imagine carefully, delicately, taking this tree that represents that belief out from the soil and I want you to imagine putting that somewhere nearby, planting it perhaps for someone else. And where that young tree was, I want you to imagine planting a seed of an idea that money is not good or bad. It just amplifies the values of the individual that holds it. Good people with money can be even better, and bad people with money can be even worse. Greedy people become even more greedy, and generous people become even more generous. And I want you to imagine planting that seed of an idea in the exact spot where the old beliefs that you have to be horrible to make money or money makes you horrible was. And notice that the seed quickly takes root, that money amplifies your character, your values, who you are. And when it starts to grow, let me know by nodding your head. And allow that tree to grow rapidly, there by the side of a babbling brook. Allow that tree to grow as you continue to walk downstream, turning around, seeing that tree that has replaced the old tree, and further off in the distance see yourself on a chair staring into a babbling brook. And you continue perhaps for miles downstream until you see that this stream connects to a beautiful reservoir, perhaps the most peaceful and beautiful reservoir that you've ever seen. And I want you to get a sense of what a reservoir is. A way to collect perhaps all these random streams that you can see flowing in to this reservoir. And it allows the water to be collected and put to use. Without the reservoir, this precious water would simply flow away. And maybe you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, or even more streams flowing into this reservoir, and each stream represents a different source of income. And the reservoir represents your savings. And you can see that beside the reservoir maybe is a dam, and any water leaving the dam is your expenditure. And the more streams you have going into the reservoir, the more quickly the reservoir fills. And I want you to get a sense that this is money flowing into you, getting bigger and deeper until there is so much in the reservoir that it can be put to use. And I want you to see that somewhere near the reservoir is a pipe taking this precious water from the reservoir to a nearby farm. They've created an irrigation system from the reservoir into the farm. And this farm is growing all different types of fruits and vegetables. You can see them growing lemons, carrots, maybe exotic fruit like pineapple, watermelon, pumpkins. See them growing every possible thing abundantly. With the water that they can take from the reservoir, they can put it to use, turning seeds and that water plus the sunshine along with the seed can grow into nutritious, tasty vegetables and fruits. I want you to see all of those vegetables and more. And I want you to connect it all together. The streams of income flowing into the reservoir, and that reservoir not being allowed to just go stagnant, but being put to use to create value for yourself and others. And it's important that it creates value for you, because you can't serve or pour from an empty cup. When the reservoir is full for you, any excess is used to irrigate this farm, and it does it very well. And without this irrigation, there would be a moderate harvest. But with this irrigation coming from the reservoir, combined with good weather and good attention, you can see an abundant harvest. More than enough. The farmer and their family have got so much that they couldn't possibly eat it all. And I want you to see that they are putting on a joyful celebration, a festival, inviting everyone from the community to take what they need. And they are happy to share. Wealth is simply abundance, having more than you need. And you can see that with that abundance, they are putting smiles on other people's faces and food in their bellies. And I want you to connect to that feeling of joy, the joy that comes from having more than you need to have an impact on other people. And if this is all making sense to your subconscious mind, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I want you to start tasting some of that delicious harvest, some of your favorite fruits and vegetables. And you realize that none of this would be possible were it not for the streams flowing into the reservoir, and the reservoir then irrigating the farm to create the harvest. The seeds still need to be planted, and the crops still need to be managed. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And then it's time to leave this celebration. And as you do so, I want you to notice that when you go back to the reservoir is just as full as it was before. Even though the water has irrigated the farm and helped with the harvest, those streams continue to flow more and more water into the reservoir. There is plenty enough to share with anyone that needs it. Because the reservoir is full, even if there was a drought and the streams dry up for a while, there would still be enough to irrigate the farm because of what is saved in the reservoir. And now it's time to walk back upstream. And as you walk back upstream, you can think of perhaps one or two new ideas for new streams that can flow into the reservoir. And perhaps you can think of one or two new things to put the water in the reservoir to use other than a farm, that gives joy to you and an impact on other people. But as you walk upstream, you can't help but notice that that small tree that was there before is now a full-grown tree, bearing fruit, your favorite fruit. And that tree represents a belief that money simply amplifies who people already are. And as you eat the fruit, you realize who you already are, and that money would enable you to become more of who you are, at your core, at your identity, who you really are. Money would enable you to do even more of that. And you continue to walk upstream, and then you see someone that looks exactly like you on a chair, gazing into a babbling brook. And on this journey, you feel like you've changed, and you will take those changes with you as you imagine sitting where they are sitting, that the unconscious and the conscious become one, harmonious, feeling motivated and inspired to continue to allow money to flow towards you, but also willing to allow the reservoir to now fill, and being willing to put the excess water in the reservoir to good use. Long are the days that you would use water in the reservoir even if it was nearly empty. Abundance starts with yourself. As you become more abundant and more streams flow into the reservoir, you become more creative about how you can put that water to good use. Still staring into the babbling brook, you feel optimistic for the future. You feel like a switch has now just moved inside your mind, so that what was creating blocks before now enables more money to flow to you, and you will use that money to plant seeds that will grow an abundant harvest. If all parts of your subconscious mind are in agreement that money simply amplifies who you are, and that with you, this enables you to have more impact and bring more joy to you and the rest of the world, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And now, you realize This is just a thought within a thought, a dream within a dream, an idea within an idea. And you are no longer by that babbling brook. You are sitting where you are right now, listening to my voice in your physical body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and toes, because shortly I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling highly resourceful, optimistic, feeling that you have a new relationship with money, and you are looking forward to putting that money to good use, to bring you and others more joy than you've ever experienced before. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.